I'm going to give this a 10.
Oh, wait, you're not turned on.
Oops, yeah.
Oh, no.
Now try.
1, 2, 3. I'm going to give this one a 10. I like it. I especially like the way that the animal is directed at the camera. It's not looking off someplace else. I think your eye is pulled right into the where's the button? Where's the button? No,
There is no
I had it upside down. Right into the face. I mean, that is going to pull your eye in because it's lighter and it's got a shape that draws the eye. So I think it's a well done photo.
No, won't do that.
Out of the gray, into the pie.
I think it's an interesting concept. I'm going to give this one a 9 because it is, there's nothing that's really sharply in focus except maybe a little bit here, and that's not enough to draw the eye. I don't know what this is. It looks like it's something spilled there, and if you're going to take a picture, a photo of food, you want the plate, the setting, and everything to be as cleaned up as you possibly can. The fork is out of focus, obviously, but enough said.
Reuben.
I'm going to give this one an 11, and I'll tell you why. I think this is nicely in focus here, and it really, you can almost smell it as you're looking at it. This needs to be a bigger picture. It's easy to do this when you're putting these up, so make the images as big as you can.
Nature's greatest snack.
Indeed. This I'm going to give a 13. I love the symmetry in it. I love the lighting in it. I would have gotten better looking grapes. But it's beautifully done. Very nice.
Flame grilled.
That's really, it's beautiful. I'm going to give it a 15. I think you got everything there. You got the color, you got the taste, and the flames around the back really are the killer item here. You could have taken a picture of a hamburger on a plate and it wouldn't look like this. This is very nicely done and thoughtfully prepared.
The eyes have it.
I like it. I think I might have cropped out right along there someplace. I don't like this up here, but I really like this. This is great, and it's got the little punch of being a little different, and it's good. I'm going to give it a 13.
Abundance.
I'm going to give it a 12. I like it. I like the texture in the bread. It's hard when you have an image with this much depth in it to get everything in focus, and the only thing you could have done is used a smaller aperture. It would have pulled everything into focus, and I think it would have scored better. I like the lighting on it. I would have cleaned this stuff up here or dusted it off and then arranged the stuff. I know it's all fallen off the bread, but it's a nicely done and nicely laid out still life.
Harvest gems.
This is a good example. I'm going to give this one a 13. It's a good example of an interesting way of positioning the subject. The only criticism I have is I would have lightened this up a little bit. I think it's a little too dark. It deadens the image right in the middle of it. This is nice. I like this, especially this, again, this round thing that draws your eyes in. There's no question what the subject of this image is. It's just that the subject is too dark.
Pick-a-peck of peppers.
I give this a 14. I like the narrowness and the scope and the range of the colors. It has a lot of punch. The background is well chosen. I like the light reflection on the tabletop. It's a good image.
4th of July cherry pie.
Well, this is red, white, and blue all over, isn't it? This is really a very nice juxtaposition of the pie and the flag, and it's, I suppose it could be apple pie, you know, if it were all American, but I'll take a cherry pie any day, and I'm going to give this one a 13. Nicely done.
A fresh bunch.
I'm going to give this a 12. I like it. I find that it's like photojournalism, and that's fine, but it's got a lot of grain, or it's not sharply in focus, and I think it could be, I mean, that's, since the topic is food, I presume that that's the subject. This guy and this whole thing could be the subject, but none of it is sharply focused. And if you want that, the topic should, the subject of the image should be sharply in focus, I think.
Bountiful harvest.
I'm going to give this a 13. I think it's well done. It almost appears to me that the background has been altered in some way, and I think there's a little too much heat here in those three places on the, I guess, the pears of some sort. I would have backed it down a little bit and given it a little more color. The fact that the background is blurry and is dark, I think that's fine, but I just think this is overheated for the foreground, and it's too garish, I think.
Ingredients.
I give this a 12. It's interesting. I like the use of the filter. I'm a big proponent of that. But I think I would have backed out a little bit. I understand this is the top of something, but I don't know what it is. So I would have backed it up just a little bit.
Pick your flavor.
Nicely done. I'm going to give this a 13. I like the multiple colors here. I think it's very attractive. I like the stroke around the perimeter of it, or the red stroke. I like the way that the background flows into it. The lighting is good. It's just kind of bright and cheery, and I like it. It's good.
All in a day's work.
Another nicely framed one. I'm going to give this a 12 as well. Not because I don't like it. I do like it very much, but the topic here is food, and the subject of this photograph is not food. It's these two little kids. Not there's anything wrong with that. Those kids are cute, they're a little out of focus, and I know that this stuff is in focus, but when you look at this image, the first thing your eye goes to are these two kids right here, rather than the food.
When life gives you
13. Simple and effective. It's got a nice punch.
love that New York cheesecake.
I'm going to give this one a 12. It's well conceived, but I don't think it's as well executed as it could be. The light, either the light or the filter or perhaps an after effect, is too yellow. The berries here are out of focus. Oh, and I like the cheesecake as much as anybody, but I like it when it's in focus, and I don't see enough in focus here.
My food, not yours.
I'm going to give this a 12 as well. I think your image is right here. And really it's right there, but I don't know whether it was sharp enough if it was blown up sufficiently to do it. And but this is just distracting here. I'm going back to the old Ellen Annan rule. If it doesn't make the picture better, it makes the picture worse. And I think this doesn't help over here. That is an interesting subject, though.
Pick and eat.
$11. I like it. It's in focus. I like the fact that we've got a nice bouquet effect here of being out of focus. Thoughtfully done. But it doesn't wow much. Well done, though.
Celebrating Halloween.
Perfect example of having something in focus here, and then the rest is back down. And whether that was done at the time the photograph was taken or later really doesn't make any difference, because it does convey that holiday festivities. I'm going to give it a 12.
Lunch on the beach.
Well, it may not be
Medium rare.
tasty, but it's a good photograph. Wow. I'm going to give this a 13.
Well, you baited them again.
What are we munching on here? Does anybody know? Is the maker here? Can the maker tell?
Maybe a deer carcass or?
Well, I
The
don't
other
know.
photographer that was with him.
Yeah.
I don't know whether everybody heard that.
Does that look like
Someone said the
Brian?
other
I don't think so.
photographer who was with him.
Yeah, well, because you did that.
It's a lime.
Oops, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
It's like a steakhouse.
Yeah, it does. It's cool.
I'll give this an 11. As I said, I'm somebody who likes these filters and so forth that you can apply, and I presume that's how this was shot. But to me, it's an abstract, but it isn't food, because it is so abstract. It's an interesting image, but I don't think that it's right in there with the topic.
That was 11, Jim?
Yes.
All right.
Sprinkles.
Look at this. I don't know how that kid had managed to do that with her eyes, but amazing. I'm going to give this 13. As we say, we always want to have the eyes sharply in focus, and boy, by golly, those are sharply in focus eyes.
Valentine's treat.
This is lovely. Really a beautiful photograph. I don't see anything that's not great about it. I might have left a little bit more space above the top of the chalice or whatever we're going to call it there. We're going to give it a 14, but it is a gorgeous image. Especially this one that's very munched on.
Green apples.
I like this. And in this case, I think the highlights that you have on each apple only accentuate the source of the light, which is obviously important because one of the images, one of the subjects here is the shadow effect across these apples. I'm going to give it a 14. I like it. The color seems right on, too.
Who is hungry?
Okay, this punches the buttons as far as the plate and everything. You can see that this was carefully done. Looks good too. Nice clean fork in focus. I'm going to give it a 13. I think I would have come out a little further from it to get a little bit more of an image. It's well done.
How do you like me now?
That looks familiar.
Wow. I'm going to give it a 12. I think this is hot here. You got hot areas back here. It's nicely out of focus in the background, but you've got schmutz on the plate there and there. And maybe that's the idea, but the dessert to me looks very, very fancy, and I think it's quite expressive to have this like mouth effect right here. But this is not in keeping with that and the other stuff that's on the plate.
Strawberry time.
Another nice effect. In this case, I think the black background and the bright yellow cup really takes away a little bit from the strawberries themselves. I think maybe a polarizing filter would have helped a little bit to avoid this reflection on the berries and made their the red color more impactful. We'd give it a 13.
Now that's a meal.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow.
It's just an interesting image all the way around. I'm going to give it a 15. I think it's really imaginatively done. I'm not even sure how it was done, but it certainly fits the topic. And I don't see anything, there's nothing that pulls your eye away from the perimeter of it or anything. I mean, you know where the topic is and you know where the subject of the image is.
Peppers and corn.
I give it a 13. I like it. Somebody took some time with it. I'm not bothered at all by the corn being out of focus back in here. This doesn't do anything for me though, right here. I think I would have arranged it a little bit different. I know that this is sharply in focus and it's got the nice highlights on it. In fact, it's got lights on both sides, which is indicative of somebody really carefully photographing it. This down here doesn't do anything. I know it's the corn, but you got the corn there, you got the corn back there. I would have arranged it differently. I think it would have been more effective.
Bird food, box style.
Wow. I can't see anything wrong with this one. This is a 15. We've got dinner in our paws, or our talons, and well, making sure nobody else is looking to take it out of our talons. So this is an excellent photograph. I really like the image of the bird. Must have been below zero when that was taken. It's all puffed up. And he's just excited he got a meal.
Food to enjoy.
This is one of the, I think it's a cedar waxwing, and you often see them eating fruits like that. The thing that I'm not bothered about this being out of focus or this or any of the rest of that, but this is also out of focus, and this is the topic or the subject of your image. There's your topic, but the eye is not sharply in focus. I'm going to give it an 11. It's a nice image, but I think it could be improved. This is sharply in focus down here, so maybe your viewfinder was focused on the wrong thing.
Table for one.
I think it's imaginatively done. I like the light, which I believe is sunlight. I like like the texture in the post. And there's nothing that pulls your eye away. You know what the topic is, you know what the subject is, it's right there. The color is beautiful, the background is a bit muted, and a nice bouquet effect, so it's a good image all the way around.
Flour, salt, water, and yeast.
I like it, but I'm wondering what the purpose of this is back there. Maybe there had to be something in the background. This I like the way that it's sharp right there. I'm not even bothered by some of the areas that are not in focus, because you can't get something like this entirely in focus. But that olive oil or whatever is in that bottle back there doesn't help, in my view anyways. I'm going to give it a 13, because I think the subject is beautifully done right here. But I would have framed it in a different way somehow. I'm not sure I would have put that back there. Not that I am, you know, maybe that's what they were trying to convey, that it was being prepared in a certain way or with a certain ingredient, but it's not one of those ingredients.
Making some goodies.
I'm going to give it an 11. It's well done. I think they used a texture effect, probably posterized it, which is okay. But again, here's the thing that draws your attention. This is what your topic is right here, and it's not prominent enough in the image to fit the bill, I don't think. Enough said.
Colorful carrots.
I like the colors, I like the way in which they're arranged. I think the picture is bright but dull. Does that make any sense? It doesn't punch any buttons. It's brightly colored. This seems to be kind of out of focus down here. Looks like your focus might be up here someplace, but it's hard to tell. I'm going to give it a 12.
Oranges.
Nice still life. Nice background, nice foreground, nicely shaped bowl, and the color and shape and texture of the oranges is just right. I think probably a polarizer was used on this. You don't have any of that glossy harshness, the white effect. It's all color. I'm going to give it a 14.
Basic food stock.
Nicely lit from both sides. Unfortunately, not so much from the front. But that might have been the maker's intent. It does highlight the pattern in the glass. I guess this is a mason jar. Looks like it has the word there. I'm going to give it a 14.
Stealing a late night snack.
This is an image you'd like to put a caption under, wouldn't you? I mean, oh really?
What? Me?
Nice animal figure here. Again, you want the eyes to be sharp. They could be a little sharper, but I can see that under the circumstances somebody was taking a picture in a hurry. And the food is the topic, but it's an amusing take on food. I'm going to give it a 13.
Fish market.
I'm gonna give it a 12. Dead fish eyes are not the same as live animal eyes, so you're not gonna get the same effect from them. It's an interesting image. I like the ice is a nice background, appropriately framed.
Had to use a fisheye lens on
Oh, Bob.
It tastes like chicken.
that. Oh my God.
Only if you've had enough of this. Wow.
Wow.
Brooks, did your social security not come in?
I asked Bob before we started if he was still taking pictures of stuffed birds, but this is over the top, Bob. You know, this is the kind of an image that you would see in the New York Times. This is a well thought of, well done, well lit, well composed 15.
Critter food, AKA birdseed.
I'm going to give it a 10. There's nothing here that really pops. It's a picture of birdseed, and I understand that, but it does fit the bill as far as the topic, but it's unexceptional, at least in my view.
Red fox in snow.
Oh.
Is that rice? Oh, wow, how cool.
I think this is a picture of art, which doesn't usually score very well. I'm going to give it an 11. It's interestingly done. It looks to me like maybe some kind of red rice and white rice arranged on a flat surface. It's a little too brightly lit to my eye anyway. An interesting image. Somebody went to a lot of trouble to do it. Oh, there's a little black rice down here too, and on the nose and the eye. But that's what it gets.
Grapefruit and kiwi.
I think the maker was trying to do something that was symmetrical with a little bit of a twist, and it might have been better if you had pulled back a little further so that you had the whole circle of the container in it. You do have the whole circle of the grapefruit, but there's that little bit out on the top and the bottom. However, that doesn't make it asymmetrical. It's still symmetrical. 12. It is the topic.
Thanks for catching my dinner. I'll take it from here.
Wow.
Whoops.
Whoops.
Geez.
That's interesting. And I think everyone likes and appreciates a little humor once in a while, and this certainly fits the bill. Again, this is another one that's crying for a caption, and I think that's a good one. I'm going to give it a 15. I think it's well composed. It was naturally lit. I love the light coming through the, I don't know what you call it, the bottom pouch of the pelican's beak. And catching something like this is a real wonderful opportunity. Yeah, gosh.
Fish and chips.
Interesting. I like the black background. To me, it's upside down, simply because the newsprint draws your eye to kind of twist it around. I can tell it was taken in England because whatever it was 45 pence, or I think it was. It fits the bill, I'm gonna give it a 12.
I love fish.
Evidently. This is,
Stunning.
this really is a eye stopper. We're all accustomed to seeing that white fringe on the eagles, but you seldom see it at this angle, and it's like drawing your eye right down to what's going on here, and what's going on is chow time. I have to give this one a 15. It's very, very well done.
Heat wave. Not sure why that's there.
Alarming myself. I like the reflection. I like the reflection here of the hill in the background, and presumably here of the sky. I don't know what these lines are that are going through it. Maybe it's like Yellowstone or someplace like that, where there's little ridges of mud through there. I don't know. And then we've got the steam or warmer water over there giving off the vapor. I'll give it an 11. It's nicely done. It doesn't fit the topic, but maybe it's just got accidentally put in the wrong segment of the program.
Somebody put it in. Pork buns.
I guess so. Again, this is it's humorous. It's funny. It's well done, but it's the topic, and I don't know whether somebody made this up or that there really is a product like this, but nicely done, nicely lit, not overly bright, but there's nothing that's too hot. A little dark at the top, but kind of have to put an end to it that's at some point in time here. And, I think it's well done. I'm going to give it a 12.
And elegant? Yes. Something.
Ceviche.
Ceviche.
Yeah.
Glad you know your French.
Well, it's you cook the fish, but you cook it with lime juice, and you can cook it in the refrigerator. You just
Yes,
soak it in lime juice, and
yes.
it cooks itself. It's
Yes.
delicious. I like the color. It's all authentic. There's no hot spots. It looks appetizing. I think I would have pulled back a little bit to get a little of the dish all the way around if it was going to be framed in this way, or get in tighter without any of that there, and maybe pick the lime up. But I give it a 13. It's well done.
Blueberries.
Nicely done. I like the reflective surface. I like the blue stroking around the perimeter of the image. It defines the image very nicely. I think what I would have done, though, is to have lightened up a bit on the fruit, and I presume this is blueberry juice back here, to make it a little bluer. I will, however, give it a 13. I think it's a nice image.
Enjoy the comb.
Mm-hmm. Interesting lighting and juxtaposition. The subject is the honey, and it's well lit and well exposed. Could be a little sharper here. If I were going to go for something to be sharp, I would go for this rather than this, simply because that's what your focus is supposed to be on, is the food. It's an interesting image. It's an interesting layout too. I think somebody went to some trouble to find the appropriate fabric and so forth and pull the image together, both color-wise. The pattern being a square dish is unusual. It's nicely set in the. It's nicely framed, appropriately centered, and so forth. I'll give it a 12.
Thinking about food.
Nice. It's the topic. Somebody has gone to the trouble to make a nice, that bordered it all with a soft line except right there. And maybe if that had been softened up a little bit there, it would have centered it a little bit better. I like the thoughtful use of the vegetables, particularly the hair. Since I don't have any, I don't have to think of that. Well done. I'm going to give it a 13.
Oh, that should be it.
Let's see if we can
Alrighty.
give us the top scores.
Exit.
This was a terrible thing to watch after I haven't had any dinner.
Yeah.
I wanted to jump up and eat that sandwich. You're gonna ask me how you do it, and
Now I
I
gotta
don't
read
know.
the instructions, that's all. Remind me.
That's not any different than the old person.
Judge.
Another meeting, so Michael's back here trying to remember how to do it.
Oh, for a while, yeah. I'm a little on the rusty side. Let's see what comes up here.
That's all right.
Here we go.
Okay, in bronze.
It's not in order.
No,
13.
they're not by scores, so, but the 14 down there is the winner,
Yep.
and that is whom? Whom is that?
Let's see.
No? We don't know.
No, we don't know.
Don't know. Well, anyway,
Go back.
it's very nice.
Yeah,
Whoever it might be.
okay. Next.
And in our silver, our top score is the 14 for the Valentine's treat.
Yep.
If one of these is yours, speak up, anybody. Next one is in gold. The winner is the 14 of peppers. And also the jars.
Jars, yeah. There's one.
No, he was another good.
And there's the other.
I like this necklace a lot.
It's done.
They're red.
Is it Dell? Did you do that, Dell?
That's nice.
Nice.
I had him with the eagle.
10, 12, 11,
And in
12.
diamond, our top
15.
score is the 15. It
I got a
tastes
couple
like-
of them.
That's Melinda's.
That's Melinda's?
No, that makes
That's
sense.
that. Yeah.
That's Melinda's.
Where the hell did you get the bird at?
Yeah.
I love
God
her.
only knows where Melinda's
She's
is.
amazing.
I will never tell.
I'll tell her.
And
Where did
then,
the eagle?
I told her.
whose is the eagle, do we
Yeah.
know?
Don't know. Who's this the eagle?
Don't know?
Wow.
That's amazing.
It is
That's
amazing. I don't know who got that close, but it's amazing.
Oh, they got that close.
Next group.
What eagle's mine?
Was? I mean,
15,
a 600 plus
Yeah.
lens?
Yeah.
Platinum,
3,
got a 15 for
Four.
plain grill, which made me
Tracy.
starving.
yeah.
That's
Tracy's?
Tracy, that's
Hey,
amazing.
Tracy.
Nicely done, yeah.
Nice job.
And
Clear on that.
Over there.
Who did this?
That's Patty.
is that Patty?
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
Like you fly those and shoot them in the living
I threw them
room?
up in the air and
Yeah.
they just came down like that.
Yeah.
I saw some food shots online like that. That's amazing.
She shot him
Good
with
job,
firecrackers.
Patty.
Yeah.
And who,
I gotta say this one right, well,
who's the bird?
Whoops.
That's mine.
oh, that's
Very nice.
I couldn't give this a 14 and a half, but I would. I like that image. I thought it was nice to me.
All right.
Oh, there's that one, yeah.
Oh, and then, do we know who this belongs
It's
to?
Gail.
Who's that,
Gail.
Gail?
Nice.
Gail Winslow? Nice.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Interesting.
All right.
Now we gotta
Let's see if we go backwards here.